Let me see. I should be live, but I don't know if I am because I haven't done a StreamYard shit in I don't know how long. I'm gonna have to bring up my phone and check to see if this video is actually on right now and make sure my audio is working. This video is actually on right now. Yeah. All right. Looks like it is. And I see that Carrot has joined us. Hello, Carrot. Thanks for stopping by. Come to you tonight to do a whatever you want to call it. I don't like saying reaction video because typically I don't like what that connotes. Reaction video. You get a lot of people doing fake reactions. This is more of an analysis because I am interested in jumping in here and seeing what kinds of stuff Puppet Combo is going to be showing off in this Puppet Combo Direct that they have going on. So, that's where we are in the world of gaming now. I'm looking forward to this more than I look forward to finding out what big budget AAA titles are coming out. This is more exciting to me at this point in the game. And I guess that's only to be expected, seeing as I've spent the past nearly a year now playing, like independent horror games on this channel. So it's kind of an interest of mine that is evolving and that has evolved over time. Hello, Joe. Joe's here, hanging out in the chat. The simple things in life, indeed, like a simple Bud Light. Not normally my drink of choice, but we had some friends over a few weeks ago, and they brought some Bud Light with them and left them, which was nice. It's always a nice treat when you have friends over. They bring beer and then they're leaving. You're like, hey, you want to take your extra beer with you? And they're like, no, you guys keep it. And I'm not a snob. I'm not going to say, oh, well, actually, I don't drink that Bud Light shit. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and graciously accept the gift, and I'm going to drink it. Not too bad. I mean, it's really not too bad. There are things in life that you could be tasked with drinking that are much worse than a Bud Light beer. Much worse swill out there to be had. Beer does always taste much better when it's free. If it's not your favorite beer of choice, if it's free beer, that brings the taste level and the enjoyment factor up considerably if you didn't have to pay for it. Joe says, takeout, chill. What does that mean? Takeout, chill. Maybe what is that? Watch? Chill watch? Oh no, the cat found noodles. I don't know what this means. I don't know what that means, Joe. The cat found noodles. Was the cat not supposed to find noodles? Yes, we're going to be finding out what lies ahead, I guess, for the next year or so in the world of Puppet Combo. Maybe they'll talk about some longer term plans. But if I had to guess, and I don't have to guess, but I'm going to anyway, I'm going to say that they're going to be telling us about projects that we can expect to come out within the next year or so. Not just on PC. This cool thing about Puppet Combo is that they are also in the game when it comes to consoles. So you don't have to feel like you're completely left in the lurch concerning everything you're going to see here tonight. If you're not a PC gamer, they have put some of these titles on consoles. Some of the ones they've released thus far. So that's neat. A lot of these cool indie horror games that I feature on this channel, you can only download them and play them on your personal computer or your Macintosh or your Linux system. Not many of them have ventured into the land of console gaming because it's a lot harder to get your games on those platforms. The sort of, are we starting here? No, not yet. I think this is supposed to kick off at 9 o'clock. That's what I understand. So just hanging out. I didn't want to miss the beginning of it because that would be shit. You don't want to tune in for some sort of exhibition, if you will, a presentation, and you miss the very start of it. That's a bummer. As we used to say back in the old Little League days, that's a boner in the dirt. A boner in the dirt. Oh, Carrot says, I'm enjoying your dive into the quarry. Yeah, that's been a fun little diversion into the realm of, I guess you call that a AAA title. Don't do many of those these days. A full price, like $60 game, mostly because I try and feature games that other channels are not featuring, at least not thousands of them. You look up The Quarry and you're going to find page after page after page of various YouTubers playing that one because it's such a huge game. And of course, the developers behind The Quarry, they did Until Dawn, which is the main reason why I'm playing The Quarry. My wife and I played Until Dawn together, and we really enjoyed that one. So I said, you know what? Let's get The Quarry, but let's do like a bootlegged camcorder version of it. So that's been a fun little thing. We're almost done with it. I think we only have 2 or 3 chapters left. There will probably only be 1 or 2 more videos of The Quarry. Yeah. So please look forward to that. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Carrot. Joe said, I've only ever had 1 sip of beer. Well, I'll have another one for you right now. How about that? Not too bad. Carrot says, I've heard wonderful things about Until Dawn, but it just wasn't my type of game. So did you actually try playing through it, Carrot? And you just couldn't push yourself through? Couldn't make it to the end? I liked it. I thought it was fun. I mean, some people complain about even classifying something like The Quarry or Until Dawn as games because it's kind of just like a choose your own adventure movie. There is a little bit of skill involved with your quick time events and how thorough you want to be in searching around. So I guess that adds some very casual gameplay. I personally would say, yeah, they're games, but they're not necessarily skill-based. And well, I don't know, because you can say that there are decisions involved in these games. Are you a good decision maker? Are you reckless? If you consider that a skill, well, then you could say that they are skill-based games. Because if you're reckless with your decisions, you could just lose everyone right off the bat. And you do get rewarded. There are achievements, for making it through the game with all of the characters left alive. That's something you can try to do that not everyone's going to be able to do. I would say there's a little skill involved. It's not like going fresh into a game like Counter-Strike that's been around for what, over 20 years now, with a pretty steep learning curve if you've never played it before. It's not like that, but there is a little bit of skill involved, I think. Anyway, that's why we're playing the Quarry, is because we enjoyed Until Dawn, and what do you want to call them? Walking simulator / QTE games. My love for that type of thing goes way back to Shenmue, which I played all the way through, the first and second one. And I'm going to redo number 3. I'm going to start all over again with number 3 and do a full playthrough on this channel, probably with commentary on that one, because it's so near and dear to my heart. And I'm sad that I never got through number 3 before, but we're still going to go back to that. That's on the list. Carrot says on Until Dawn, just couldn't get into the plot. The gameplay and freedom of choice was fine for a horror game, but the plot didn't pull me in as much as horror games like Amnesia, for example. Now, see, there's one that I never finished for maybe a similar reason. Maybe your reason for not finishing Until Dawn is the reason I never finished Amnesia. I just wasn't pulled in. And I've played, a lot more of that style over the years since Amnesia came out. The run and hide stealth type horror games. And I can tolerate them, but they're not my favorite by any means. I definitely prefer a sort of classic survival horror experience. And when I say survival horror, I don't just mean surviving while running away. I mean searching for ammo and rationing and rationing your save points and boss fights. The Resident Evil style, that type of thing. Are you ready? Looks like we're getting ready to start here. So I'm going to go smaller down. I'm going to go to this size and let the puppet combo take over. That's what we're going to do here. Make sure this volume's up. Joe said, one time I went to the living room during dinner and I drank a bit of it and thought it was Coke, like normally. And I tasted it when I was drinking and it wasn't Coke. It was whiskey. And I was like, yeah, if you're expecting Coke and you get whiskey, that's bad. What are we looking at here? Our spines are going to tingle as we witness the games on display tonight. They highly recommend keeping a barf bag beside you as we unveil the PC and console games coming out this year. There we go. So grab a beer. I got that. Dim the lights, take a seat, and come along with us into the dark universe of Puppet Combo, if you dare. To avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a game. It's only a game. Only a game. Coming soon, Blood Warsh. Coming to consoles. So very soon on consoles, you'll be able to go and visit PayPal. That's pretty cool if you haven't had a chance to do that yet. This is Blood Warsh. That's the creepy guy. This is when you are taking the bus to the washing machines. Sarah is the character that you play as. There's some got a full playthrough of this one on the channel if you're interested. Stan, he's a good fellow, next door neighbor of the main character Sarah. Here's the creepy bus pulling up to take you on over to the laundromat. There's a laundromat, of course. The titular Blood Warsh. Throwing your clothes in there. You can sit and watch TV for a bit. This creepy guy plays into the plot in some fashion or way. I won't spoil that for you. Love the look and feel of this one. It's a fantastic atmosphere in this game. I quite enjoyed it. Here's a part where you play as a police officer, in fact. Take over as a cop for a little bit. Running through the vents. Blood Warsh. I'm sad they didn't show any footage of Peepaw. Why didn't they show Peepaw? Peepaw is one of the best things about Blood Warsh. Coming soon, Stay Out of the House final release. I played a bit of Stay Out of the House, and I was not a huge fan of it. I didn't enjoy this one as much as some of the other puppet combo games. The beginning is neat. You're sort of working at a convenience store, gas station. Reminds me of my time working at Speedway, actually. I used to work third shift at Speedway gas station. Washing Machine by Super Divorce 2022. Maybe that's what I'll call my next album. Washing Machine. Look for it soon. So you get kidnapped from the gas station and you find yourself in this creepy house. You got to escape. You got to stay away from the killer who's chasing you. I found that one to be very difficult. Looks like the final release is coming out in July. So maybe I'll give another shot. Maybe I'll try the final release when it comes out next month. Because I guess I played the most recent version that I downloaded from Puppet Combo's Patreon, because I am a patron of theirs, so I get to download any of their games, the beta versions, their test versions they release. The final version is not released yet, so maybe when that one is available, I'll actually give it another shot. I just found it to be way too claustrophobic for my taste and too much bullshit. I can't stand... It's like, as you just saw there, you got all these little corridors and shit you have to go down, and you got to listen for the killer. And if he finds you, I found it extremely harrowing to try and get away from him. Nearly impossible. And I only tried it a few times. And I was like, nope, fuck this. I'm not doing it. Of course, then I played through Nun Massacre. I did the Nun version, the Circus version, and the Factory. I did all of those. And it took a while to get the hang of it because, again, very difficult if the killer spots you in those games. And it's kind of a similar run and hide type scenario. I guess maybe the reason I called it quits is because I didn't like the atmosphere as much. These cramped, yucky, dank corridors, it didn't call out to me. It didn't speak to me in a way that made me want to continue playing through it. It's like, I want to get out of here. And maybe that's part of what they're trying to evoke with this setting, is that it is nasty and you do want to get out. And that's the whole point of the game. But when you get got and you go back to the main menu and you're not beckoned back into that world, you're kind of relieved that it's over with. It's tough to force yourself to do it over again. And I did get one of the endings, by the way. I didn't just die in the first 2 minutes of the game or anything like that. I got the bad ending, you would call it. So you get to see the end. You get to see your character suffer a bad fate, and then the credits roll. That's why I was able to put it down as a full game super play. I did play the full game and got the bad ending, but there are other... see, like, that's almost exactly what happened to me right there, actually. That's like that spot where that killer just saw that the player, whoever was playing that is almost exactly what happened to me when I died. So that's pretty crazy. Carrot says you see a lot of weird people working at gas stations. Guilty as charged. I'm not denying that I'm I'm a weirdo. That's fine. But I never felt really threatened working third shift at the gas station. So you've got survivors that you have to try and get out of the house. That's one aspect of this game that I never even got around to. And I suppose if the killer spots one of the survivors, then they don't survive. Can change the difficulty here on Stay Out of the House. New threats and obstacles emerge the harder you choose to play, including more plentiful traps, more aggressive enemies, harder to find items, as well as clever ways the butcher will try to catch the player. With only 3 lives in the game, Roxanne must collect items to come closer to solving the mystery behind the killer's motive and madness, all while hiding in the shadows to avoid him and avoid her death. That reminds me of Nun Massacre. You had to stop the fan to go through the vents. It's kind of a carried over gimmick. You had to mess with the clock too in Nun Massacre. Had to find paper clips in Nun Massacre too. Had to pick locks in Nun Massacre. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of crossover sort of gameplay between Stay Out of the House and Nun Massacre. But I think the setting for Nun Massacre, all the versions of it, the factory, the orphanage, and the circus are all a bit more appealing, in my opinion. So there's Stay Out of the House. Final version coming in July. Joe wants to know if I ever watched some of my viewers' videos. Yeah, I have before. I haven't lately, though, because I honestly haven't watched really. Hold on, what's this? New release, the Booty Creek Cheek Freak. I played this one. You might have seen this one on the channel. This is a really fun game. Developed by Jordan King. Hilarious game. Love this one. I was laughing my ass off alone at night when this first released, playing it by my lonesome. You got to check out Booty Creek Cheek Freak. It's a killer who's, he's got butt cheeks on his head. He's got a butt face. And if you poop on the floor in this one bathroom at the campsite, then he comes after you to kill you. I have to say that was obviously an inspiration for 616 Games' recent trilogy of poop killer titles. Got a very similar killer. It wasn't just one bathroom, though. The poop killer in 616 Games' poop killer game series will just kill anyone who doesn't flush, leaves poopy in the toilet, does what I like to call a bathroom bogey. The poop killer comes after you. But anyway, Joe wanted to know, do I watch some of my viewers' videos? I haven't in a while, to be honest, just because I haven't watched many in general. When I watch YouTube, it's really, let's see, I'll watch Jim Cornette's wrestling videos. I'll just put those on when I'm driving and listen to them. World premiere, Night at the Gates of Hell. And then Ethan Van Sciver live streams. But if you have anything I should check out, let me know. I'm always open to checking stuff out. What do we got here? In 2021, Jordan King brought you Blood Warsh, a chiller unlike any other. Now, Jordan King brings you the most terrifying experience you'll find anywhere. Night at the Gates of Hell. Night at the Gates of Hell. Night at the or the gates of Hell. Night at the Gates of Hell. New one from Jordan King, who brought you Blood Warsh. Looks like we got a nice mixed bag of various shit going on here. Cemeteries, hay bales, hallways, boats sinking on a bog, evil priests, druids. The dead rise in Night at the Gates of Hell. Got a release date on that? From the sick mind that brought you Blood Warsh, Jordan King, comes his latest experiment in terror, Night at the Gates of Hell. Inspired by Italian zombie flicks from Lucio Fulci and Bruno Mattei, Night at the Gates of Hell, a blood-dripping, neon-soaked, flesh-rotting experience. There's some little ballerinas. You play as David, a quiet man living alone in a seaside apartment after his wife's recent passing. As a zombie outbreak, the city he lives in disrupting his very normal life. With nothing to lose, David's only option left is survival. After gathering his thoughts, collecting a few weapons, and meeting up with survivors, David realizes he must fight his way to the truth behind this apocalypse by gunning down and slashing through hordes of zombies while also focusing on gaining something. Fighting isn't everything for David. Gaining information and resources from his colleagues will be imperative on his quest. On his journey, David will encounter other survivors. Stan, he was vacationing in the beachside village when it was overrun by the undead. He was in Blood Warsh, while protecting them until they came across other survivors. Stan is loyal, wanting nothing more but to keep the group safe from the zombies and each other. Cap, a tugboat captain, needs a few more parts to get his boat swimming again. He's heard of an island not far off the coast that's apparently safe from the rotting brain eaters. Very go-lucky, but not the brightest bulb on the tree. Skeeter, a retired Vietnam vet, has sworn to never touch another gun again after surviving the trauma of war. However, he'll be forced to make a decision on whether or not to break that vow to keep the newfound friends safe. Not freaks, friends. Belinda and Charles, a mother-son duo with a strange relationship. Not much is known about them, other than they're better company than the rotting corpses roaming the streets. Zombie bites are deadly, but luckily for David, limited-use knives are scattered around the city. Look at that one. When grabbed by the undead, David can plunge a knife into their faces, making his escape. Run out of knives, however, and the next bite's game over. Featuring a lack of UI controls, Night at the Gates of Hell aims to fully immerse the player inside the walking corpse-infested world of Euro 80s Italian cinema. Night at the Gates of Hell's release this summer. Will you be able to find out the truth before the apocalypse takes over David's something? Sorry. Night at the Gates of Hell. They're really doing something interesting here. I've never seen this type of presentation where they're just giving you captions to read. Demo launching at midnight on Patreon. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar ass that you'll be able to find that demo played through right here on the Super Divorce YouTube channel, because I am a Patreon subscriber to Puppet Combo, and I will be playing that post haste. So keep an eye out for it. I think this is Murder House. They're showing us here. Just what was going on here. There was no way this was a prank, and if it was a ghost, it was a solid one. It was almost like the Easter Ripper was back, but that was impossible. The Easter Ripper was dead. Murder House by Regina Watts. This is a book that you can pick up, an actual novel. Carrot said, I still think Power Drill Massacre or perhaps Nun Massacre are the best Puppet Combo games. Yeah, those are both solid. I think Blood Warsh is my favorite. I have to say that's mine. World premiere, Deadly Night. Joe's World says, me when I figured out what the don't drop the soap things. Oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. That is surprising when you find that out for the first time. All right, what do we got here? What are we looking at? A blood-soaked motel. Carrot's seen a few of Lucio's films. Lucio Fulci, referenced in that last game, Night at the Gates of Hell. I've never gotten big into Italian horror. What is this? Deadly Night coming this August. Wish list on Steam. Check that out if you got a Steam account. Wish list it. Deadly Night. Deadly Night at a motel. New release, Nun Massacre. Check out my playthroughs on this channel of Nun Massacre. The, what do they call it? Definitive Edition. My gripe with Nun Massacre Definitive Edition was there's another level that I did not get to play, another setting. So I played, this is the orphanage, which is like the sort of default where you're running away from the nun. And then there is the factory. And then the circus. So you're running from like the drill killer. And then the circus, you're running away from a creepy clown lady. Maybe, I think it's a lady. It looks like one. Maybe it's not. There it is. But then there's another one where you're playing in the back rooms. But to get that, to unlock the back rooms, you have to find these glitches throughout the levels of the other three settings. You have to find these little glitches. It's tough to explain. But you have to find glitches in the map, and then once you do, like here it is. Here's the back rooms level that I never got to experience. Because I didn't find all the glitches. And I spent a lot of time searching. I felt like I looked up and down in like the exploration mode to try and find these glitches, and I just couldn't. I missed them somehow. So that pissed me off a little bit. Apparently, I didn't look as well as the people they're showing here as Dom Plays or Dashy Games. And for that, I make no apologies. I'm just telling you it is what it is. Cubs Scouts. People came to one of my videos from Cubs Scouts the other day. I guess he played through Poop Killer 3 and he had censored the ending. So a bunch of people came to my video to see what he had censored. It was where the Poop Killer's victims all line up in a row and they shoot poop out of their butts and it smacks the Poop Killer in the face and kills him. And that guy, Cubs Scouts, I was not familiar with him until his viewers came to my channel, to my video. But he didn't show that on his playthrough for some reason. Okay. Carrot says, question for you, Super Divorce. Have you ever played Cry of Fear? No, I haven't. There's a Power Drill Massacre full release in 2022. But no, I've not played Cry of Fear. I think I have that on my Steam wish list, in fact. But I just have not gotten around to it. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it might be a little bit longer of a game than what I normally do. You know, a little bit longer than the normal 20 minutes to an hour long experience that I play most of the time. Just because, as you might have noticed with the whatchamacallit, with the Quarry playthrough, it's been several days of mostly the Quarry, just uploading Quarry videos and not getting around to much else, because when I've had time to do videos, that's what I've been doing. That's why I like doing the shorter games, because it allows me to upload something new every day when I'm able to do that. Carrot says it is quite a long game. Okay, so maybe that's why I haven't played it yet. I think I was looking at that one and then I checked out what the average length of a playthrough is, and was like, oh, I'm going to have to push that one off until I've got, however long a chunk of time, a totally free day when I can just sit down and try and complete it in one go, which is how I normally try to do longer games. I just don't do many of them these days. Every now and again, I'll do one. And usually I don't break them up. I am breaking up the Quarry because I'm playing it with my wife, playing together. She's been helping me make decisions, that kind of stuff. Anyway, it looks like that's what they got for us from the Puppet Combo Expo. And the big news there would be Night at the Gates of Hell. The demo coming out later tonight at midnight, available on the Patreon of Puppet Combo. And I will be downloading that one, and I'll be getting it up here as soon as I can. So if you're interested in a no commentary playthrough, please check back on that. And that'll be fun, I think. It looks fun. Looks intriguing. Looked like it had a nice mix of stuff going on there. I don't know if this will replay. If I can. Yeah, it will let me do that. I just want to try and examine that a little bit more and see what exactly we're working with when it comes to the Night at the Gates of Hell video game. I'd like to take another look at that. Joe, you had asked me if there were any videos that I watched, made by viewers of mine. And like I said, if there's anything that I should check out from you, from your own channel, or from someone that you watch, let me know and I'll look into it. I'm not just saying that. I'll actually, I'll check them out and I'll report back. Well, now this isn't playing for me. That's kind of silly. I thought we'd be able to have another look and maybe go through some of the finer details of Night at the Gates of Hell, see what it's all about. Because I was also trying to read the captions as we were going through there. This was a very interesting sort of, showcase. They didn't have a voiceover. There was no panel. In a way, I kind of appreciate what they did here. You didn't have to worry about some annoying dickhead, perhaps like me, trying to be over the top and super funny YouTube guy. You didn't have to worry about that. It was mostly just the games with words that you could read if you want to. Of course, I was trying to read them to you, so maybe I ruined that. If I ruined that for you, then I'm not going to apologize. This is my channel after all, and I have to say something, so I'm not just replaying someone else's content with no original shit added to it. I can't do that. I'll get in trouble. YouTube doesn't like that. But if you want to check it out without me talking over top of it, or to take a finer look at things on your own, they did say that this was going to be streamed on YouTube as well. I was watching it on Twitter just because that's where I saw it come up first. And I just decided we'll stay right here. We'll check it out on Twitter. It is on YouTube, though, so you can check it out there as well if you would like to examine the details and so on. If you'd like to do your own analysis and so on and so forth. So that's that. That's the old showcase. Can we not exit this now? It doesn't even want to let me. There we go. was able to leave full screen. Oh shit, look at that. Thanks, Carrot. Is there a specific type of horror media you're into? What kind of things do you find the scariest? Scariest, asks Carrot for $9.99 with that fantastic and lovely and very generous super chat. Let's see. Is there a specific type of horror media that I'm into? Well, I love kind of schlocky 80s horror, kind of on the horror that like borders on horror comedy. I'm a big fan of. And I don't mind stuff that's like super gory. I like it when it's gory with a kind of upbeat, dark humor flair to it. Not that I'm squeamish or anything like that. It's just like super depressing, dark, what do some people call it? Torture porn, things like that, where there's no sort of comedic tone to it at all. It's just people suffering in really horrible ways. I mean, let me think. If it's something like Saw, like the original Saw movie, and maybe even the second one, I think at a certain point I missed out on continuing to follow that series. But those movies, like there was I guess there was a point to the suffering. It's like, what can the people put up with? What are you willing to go through to survive? That kind of deal. That question is what's driving the torture that people are going through, and so that's kind of intriguing. And that like there's a point to it. Uh, just seeing, I guess, a mean spirited display of gore just doesn't do anything for me. It's not that it offends me or anything like that, but I would just rather not watch horror that sort of goes into that realm. I would much rather watch, like I said, shit like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, Monster Squad is one of my favorite movies ever. Critters, um, stuff like that. Chud 2, I'm a big fan of that one. It's funny how different Chud 2 is from the original Chud. Bud the Chud, just complete change in tone and really I mean it's kind of silly they even called it Chud at all. The sequel, they could have just come up with a new name for it. No one would have ever known it was connected to the original Chud film. But yeah, stuff like that would be in my wheelhouse when it comes to horror. And that's what I dig in that realm. As far as what do I find the scariest? I think that like really well done ghost movies and possession movies, those have always creeped me out. So, Amityville Horror, both the original and the remake with Ryan Reynolds, I think are fantastic. The Changeling, if you ever saw that movie, that's a great ghost story. Um, just that kind of building tension, wondering what's going on, what's going to happen next. And very few instances of like in your face um, horrific imagery. It's almost like the suspense and the build is the scariest part of it for movies like that. And then you'll get these little payoffs. There are those really shocking moments that happen, but being sort of ill at ease and unnerved throughout the majority of an hour and a half to 2 hour movie, that's what I think that type of experience is all about. And then maybe even with movies like that, going home, stuff that sort of gets you wondering when you hear the house settling. Was that just house sounds, or is there something else going on here that, is lurking in the shadows? I find that stuff much creepier than just like over the top gore fest type shit. Uh, that stuff is almost like you get so desensitized to it at a point. If you've seen it, if you're familiar with horror and you've been around that block, so to speak, then, uh, you know, trying to scare people with just over the top gore, I think becomes ineffective. That's why I like comedic horrors that go over the top with the gore effects, because you can almost appreciate it more for the artistry that goes into what they're showing you on screen. You're almost watching it more for the people behind the scenes and what they're able to come up with, what they did on camera, that type of thing. At least back in the day when you had a lot more practical effects. But these days, so much CG horse shit. You can pick it out a mile away and it's not impressive and it's not scary and it's just whatever. But yeah, more of the atmospheric horror. Yeah, I would say that's the kind of stuff that I find actually scary. That kind of horror movie will actually have more of you know, like I said, an unnerving effect on me than things that are trying to be scary in like these really overt ways with a million jump scares and stuff like that. I mean, getting a viewer with a jump scare doesn't mean the movie was really scary. Uh, you could get jump scares in a Pixar movie. If there's just a quiet scene and then someone honks a horn really loud, it doesn't mean the movie was scary or shocking. It just means that they went from a quiet moment to a really loud one and you weren't expecting it. So I think relying on that type of thing is whatever. It doesn't make me mad. Some people get really upset about jump scares. Oh, the fuck, this movie has a million jump scares. I don't care. It doesn't really bother me, but I'm not impressed by them. It doesn't make a movie scary if they've thrown in a bunch of jump scares and they show the audience jumping a lot. Okay, well, again, that's just a moment of low volume followed by a moment of really high volume where you weren't expecting it. Joe said, never search up One Man, One Screwdriver. Is that a horror film? I'd imagine, since that's what we're talking about. What is it? Just a guy stabbing himself with a screwdriver a bunch? Maybe that, I don't know. That would be my guess. He says, no, it's not. Okay. Maybe it's a really depraved sort of snuff video of some sort that used to go around Kazaa or LimeWire back in the day. That was always a fun experience. Being a young kid on the internet back in like the early 2000s. Hey, I'm going to download this video of Metallica covering Nirvana, and then it's like a guy getting his head cut off. That's that was our experience back in the olden days, back in the Wild West days of you never know what the fuck you're downloading. It says one thing, but it could be anything. Could be anything at all. Carrot says, "Isn't that a snuff?" I mean, yeah. If it's not a One Man, One Screwdriver, if it's not a horror movie, it sounds like a snuff film. That was like immediately what I thought. Sounds like one of those things. Remember the one that used to go around was like the guy at the city council meeting. I don't remember the backstory, but he goes up in front of everyone and just like shoots himself. And it's like filmed on public access television or something. And that got uploaded to the internet. That had to have been like back in the late 90s or early 2000s. I feel like that was like, it's crazy that was like one of the first viral videos looking back, you know? That's weird. Yeah, back in the days of LimeWire, Kazaa, Napster. I mean, Napster got it all rolling. Then they had to go to war with Metallica, and then you got your sort of alternatives. I think I used Kazaa on my computer, and then my dad had a Mac, and he had LimeWire on that. LimeWire, I feel like, had a bit more quality control. It seems like I was able to find better stuff on LimeWire. It was more accurate. You were more likely to get what you're looking for. Though a blessing in disguise, I mentioned Metallica covering Nirvana. I believe that was actually the title of the video that my friend and I downloaded. And because we were both Metallica fans, huge Metallica fans back in the day, and still am. But that sounds awesome. To like a couple of kids in 8th grade, you're going through and searching up shit on Kazaa and fucking, oh shit, Metallica covered Nirvana. We got to download this and check it out. And that was how I discovered Wesley Willis. If you ever heard of Wesley Willis, or if you've never heard of Wesley Willis, you need to check him out. Look him up. He has since passed on, unfortunately, but he was a regular guest on the Howard Stern show for quite some time. And the song that we downloaded was not Metallica covering Nirvana. It was actually Wesley Willis's modern classic, modern masterpiece, Suck My Dog's Dick. And it's a fantastic song, and he's got many others. You just have to look into his catalog. Go down a Wesley Willis rabbit hole sometime, and you'll have some fun there. Good shit. I don't know what made me think of all that. Anyway, I'm just looking over here at Twitter over on the side. Oh boy. Checking out the trending topics at the moment. I like to do this from time to time. What's going on here? How about Ezra Miller? Have you ever seen a celebrity break down in such tremendous fashion in like such a short period of time? I mean, I've never been a fan. I've never liked Ezra Miller. Ever since Ezra Miller was featured in, was it Justice League? Or was it, I think it was Justice League, was Ezra Miller's first appearance in the DC film universe. But ever since I saw Ezra Miller walk on screen and try to portray Barry Allen, I was immediately put off. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Why did they get this like young, kind of like French Stewart look-alike? Why do you want to hire French Stewart, a young French Stewart from Third Rock from the Sun? Why do you want to hire this guy to play Barry Allen? One of the premier, most important DC superheroes of all time, The Flash. One of the most respected, one of the most prestigious, one of the most heroic. And you're hiring this guy? This Ezra Miller? No. I immediately said no. It was like the wisecracking sort of Joss Whedon style bantery douchebag. And I was just like, no, this is not right. This is a horrible, horrible casting decision. And ever since then, I've been like, just get this fucking Ezra Miller out of here. Now, I didn't wish for Ezra Miller's life to go down the tubes the way that it has. I don't want to see that happen to anyone. But again, it seems as though Ezra Miller has facilitated a lot of this and is making some very, very bad, not just career choices, but life choices, you know, grooming young, impressionable native girls. And what is he now? They said that he's keeping a family locked away in a home somewhere, in one of his homes or in some property that he owns, with like loaded guns lying around, and there are kids uh, being watched by this mother who's apparently trying to be um, challenged for custody by the kid's father. The kid's father said this is a very unsafe place for the kids to be under the supervision of a crazed and psychotic Ezra Miller. What is going on with this person? So, not only that, but of course, also within the past year, apparently, like Ezra Miller has tried to fight basically the entire population of Hawaii for some reason. There was a video where he choke slammed a woman in a nightclub, like slammed some woman against a wall. He tried to fight someone out in a park. It's like, dude, you need to calm the fuck down. Anyway, the biggest shock to me is that though all of this has happened, there's still no announcement from Warner Brothers that, hey, I think we're going to shelve this Ezra Miller Flash film. I think that would be the best thing for everyone involved right now. Or replace Ezra Miller with the guy who plays the Flash on the TV show. I've seen a lot of Flash fans, a lot of Flash diehards out there present that idea. They're just like, just put the guy from the show in the movie and just redo all those scenes. You can do it. If you can go in and you can take out Henry Cavill's facial hair for the Justice League movie, I think you can just cut out Ezra Miller from certain scenes and replace him, or reshoot certain scenes. You can work that magic. You guys can do it. You know, that's the only way I see the movie working. I don't think people are going to be jazzed to go out and see an Ezra Miller led Flash film at this point, after everything that's come out, especially this latest one, where he's like on the run with this chick who he's been apparently grooming since she was like 12 years old to run away with him. Really, really weird stuff. So put that movie to the side, I would say. It's going to be about as successful as an Amber Heard led film at this point. Those two people, I think you can just kind of put to the side. They might need to go and find a new line of work after, the past year that the two of them have had. So, yeah. No good. No good. Ezra Miller, Amber Heard. I'm not a fan of cancellations. I'm not saying that. But when you're dealing with people who are not just bad people, but who are actually engaging in criminal activity. I mean, in the case of Amber Heard, you're talking about basically a psychopath and domestic abuser. And then with Ezra Miller, this is really a crazed person. I don't think Ezra Miller is just a bad person who needs to be like shunned from the movie industry. I think you're dealing with an actual psychopath. Like literally. I wouldn't be surprised if Ezra Miller is next found to have also been a serial killer this whole time. It wouldn't shock me now, after all this crazy shit that's come out over the course of the past year or so. So it's not that I'm not saying cancel them. I'm saying put them in movies to your own peril, movie studios. I can't imagine anyone's going to be excited to go and pay whatever you have to pay now. Most theaters going to be $15 to $20 per ticket to watch a psychopath Probably not. It's a tough sell. Carrot says, unpopular opinion. The Flash TV show is really, really bad. I've never watched any of these new superhero TV shows. I haven't watched a single one of them. I'm just not interested in it. The state of mainstream superhero shit is just so bad. I don't get into it anymore. The last superhero movie that I paid for was Spider-Man. And that was fantastic. I thought that was maybe the best superhero movie that I've seen. As a huge Spider-Man fan, that one felt the most like a classic Spider-Man comic book event. That's what it felt like to me. The MCU stuff, I think, should have ended with Endgame. That would have been a good place to call it quits. Then, of course, you wouldn't get the newest Spider-Man. But okay, let's say Endgame and then Spidey and then call it. And then, because now you can move on from Spider-Man, Peter Parker being involved and all of that MCU shit. You don't need that anymore. That was an interesting way to bring him in. You didn't have to do the Peter Parker origin all over again in sort of the same way that we've seen before with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. It was fine to kind of expedite things a little bit. But yeah, I think that getting him out of the MCU is a good idea, so you don't have to keep beating that dead horse. I miss being able to have like standalone superhero movies. Everything's got to be just like sort of a segue into the next thing, almost like you're watching episodes of a TV show. So it makes the movies themselves feel less important than they should. The movie itself should be the event. But the way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has unfolded over time has sort of brought us to this point where you feel like you're watching episodes of a TV show when you watch one of these movies instead of a standalone film that you could just sit down and watch on its own without having seen everything that came before it or without any intent to see what comes after it. And if they want to throw in their little 15, 30-second, post-credit scene, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. But, it starts to feel like the entire movie is like a post-credit scene just setting up the next thing. And I think that that's a bit problematic. I think that gets a little boring over time. Joe said a bird on a tree just said shh, she, or shi next to me. Intriguing. Tell the bird that we all say hello. Have a good evening, bird. Carrot says the only reason I watched No Way Home was for Tobey Maguire. Not a huge fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Nothing against him. I just don't have that same love for the character as I used to. Well, I felt like by the end of No Way Home, Tom Holland had actually become Spider-Man. And that's why I liked it. And the movie, to me, had some heart to it. I really liked the way that all three Peter Parkers interacted with each other. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a really great sort of ending to the entire Spider-Man saga. If you've been a fan since the Tobey Maguire movies, that was a neat cameo, if you want to call it that. I mean, it felt more significant than just calling it a cameo, but to bring Tobey in and to bring Andrew Garfield in, who I didn't really like as much. When that new Amazing Spider-Man movie series first started up, I was actually pretty bummed out because if you'll recall, they were going to do a fourth Spider-Man movie starring Tobey Maguire, and he had actually started doing like late night talk shows hyping it. So they were like full tilt, ready to go to start production on a new Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. And then they pulled the plug on it, and they're like, well, we want to start over again with a fresh face and a young Peter Parker, someone who can play him in high school. And I think at the time, Andrew Garfield was like 26. He's like 26 or 27. And I was like, okay, so you guys just threw out the Tobey Maguire trilogy. You were going to do a fourth film, but you said, no, we're going to skip that. We want to start over with a kid who can play Toby, or who can play Peter Parker in high school. And then you go out and you get someone who's like almost 30 years old. And it was like, what are these people thinking? So I actually didn't even see Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man when it came out. I just wasn't interested. I was a little butthurt. Finally, I watched it, and then I watched the second one. I ended up enjoying them okay. And I was like, all right, well, they're not bad movies. I just wish that Tobey's series would have been kept alive. So to see them brought together with Tom Holland was a cool sort of wrap up to their stories. And then I think it was a successful passing of the baton. I think they got Tom Holland over, using wrestling terms, as the new Spider-Man. He wasn't just like Tony Stark's sidekick. He wasn't this overpowered sort of Iron Man knockoff. It was finally Tom Holland stepping into the role as Spider-Man, and he was able to get there after being coached not by Iron Man, but by two legit Spider-Men. So that was neat to me. And the movie had a little bit different tone to it than the other Tom Holland, actually quite a different tone than the other Tom Holland Spider-Man films. And I even enjoyed Zendaya as MJ, which was shocking because I did not like her character in the other two films. In this one, she actually seemed to have like, I don't know, a somewhat lovable nature. She actually seemed a little kind of charming. She actually seemed warm-hearted, which you want out of the MJ character. And I know that it's not Mary Jane Watson. I get that. But that supportive chick at Peter Parker's side, you want to be kind of warm. You want her to be friendly and someone who's supportive and not just dismissive and rolling her eyes constantly and just like too cool for school. She didn't have that attitude in No Way Home. And that was another reason I liked it. I got to the end of it and it was like, man, I dig all these characters. I think everyone did a great job. And I can see Tom Holland moving forward as Spider-Man, having Spider-Man adventures, being Peter Parker on his own and doing a great job and not having to rely on whatever's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to sort of get people interested. So, Carrot says the Sony Spider-Man movies had a lot of potential, but all fell flat. Yeah, and a bunch of people were clamoring for another Garfield movie after No Way Home, and people were wanting another Tobey Maguire after No Way Home. So who knows? I mean, maybe they'll do both. I think that they would get viewers to the cinema. People would go and watch those. I think that people are getting sick of the MCU tie-ins. I don't think that they have successfully, I just talked about passing the baton. I don't think that the MCU has successfully passed the baton to any of these people who are supposed to be taking over for the previous Avengers. I mean, it's like, it's not going from A to B team. It's like going from, from varsity starter team down to like seventh graders. Just not even in the same ballpark. So you went from Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., and, I guess Chris Hemsworth. He's been supplanted, it seems, for this next movie anyway, by Natalie Portman's Jane Foster, which, no. Thor is not a title. I know that's the way they tried to write that in the comics, and I didn't buy it then. Not buying it now. Thor is not a title. It's not a title like King. Thor is a character. Thor is actually a mythological character. And it always has been. And it's been that in the comics. It's not like Beta Ray Bill became Thor just because he looked like him, and had those same kind of qualities. That was never up for dispute. It was never, will Beta Ray Bill be Thor? No, Thor's Thor. Thor will always be Thor until mid 2000s, 2010s horse shit invades mainstream comics, and you get, oh my God, it's female Thor. No, it's not. It's a knockoff. Thor is still Thor. Jane Foster's not Thor. So I'm not interested in that shit. I don't care about it. Don't give one French fried fuck about the Thor movie. And, I don't accept that that you're going to have a new Captain America either. I mean, here's the problem. The characters are who they are, and people get attached to those characters, not just the mask, but also the identity behind the mask. And this is not anything that's sort of particular to movies. This is something that's happened in comic books over the years. They've tried this many times, many different times, running storylines where it's just like, oh, who's going to be the new Green Lantern? You've got whatever, you take away Hal Jordan. Your new Green Lantern's Kyle Rayner. Now, over time, there are some Kyle Rayner fans, but Hal Jordan always comes back. Hal Jordan is Green Lantern. When you think of Green Lantern, you think of Hal Jordan. That's just the way it is. And they've done the same thing with Barry Allen. Who's going to be the new Flash? It doesn't matter. It's always Barry Allen. Barry Allen always comes back, and that's the person that people want to see behind that mask. They did it with Batman. Who's going to don the cape and cowl next? Who will be the new Batman? No one really gives a shit. No one gives a shit. They'll follow along, they'll play along while this story is unfolding to see what's the big reveal? Who's the next Batman going to be? And you get like this sort of little sales boost during these storylines where they're building up to the big reveal. Who's it going to be? Who's the next Batman? And then that character takes over. Issue number 1, oh my God, look at the sales. By issue 3, no one gives a shit. And they're just saying, bring back Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Just bring him back. We don't give a shit about the new guy. And it happens that way every single time. And it's going to happen that way in the movies when they replace these characters. If they try to make Riri Williams the new Iron Man and take over for Tony Stark, no one's going to give a shit. The way that no one gives a shit about Ironheart or Riri Williams in the world of actual print comic books. They just do this shit and they keep pushing it and they keep trying and it never works. It's harder to build new characters than to take an existing name, try to get everyone to make soy face where they're pointing, at this shiny new object for 5 seconds until it loses its luster and no one gives a shit. And everyone's like, where's the old guy that we loved? Where's the old hero? Hey, Jess. I was going to tell you that I was streaming, but I saw that you were napping, so I didn't want to disturb you. Wonder what else is trending right now. Show more. See what else is going on. The FDA has banned Juul e-cigarettes in the U.S. Wonder what the reason is. The Food and Drug Administration denied authorization to Juul for all of its products currently marketed in the U.S., dealing a substantial blow to a company that was briefly a darling among both tobacco giants and Silicon Valley investors. The regulator said in a statement Thursday that the company must stop selling and distributing the products and that those that are on the market must be removed or risk enforcement action. A rise in teenage use of vaping products had compelled the agency to conduct a thorough review of e-cigarettes, according to FDA Commissioner Robert Califf. Well, Juul e-cigarettes are not the only e-cigarettes on the market, so why did they just ban? Why did they just ban the Juul? What's wrong? Maybe because they were one of the biggest? Is that the problem? Let's investigate further. Nick Villar's doing the soy jack is something I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. Well, I hope to keep my soy jacking to an absolute minimum, really. I don't soy jack often. Let me see. Joe Murillo, Juul's chief regulatory officer, said the company disagreed with the decision. Of course they will. Of course you're going to disagree when they ban your company, and would seek a stay as it determines what to do next. Juul is, quote, exploring all of our options under the FDA's regulations and the law, including appealing the decision and engaging with our regulator, Murillo said in an emailed statement. The FDA indicated that its rejection of Juul was based on data the company submitted regarding its products' public health benefits. Juul's application lacked sufficient evidence to show that allowing its products to be sold in the U.S. would be appropriate for the protection of public health, and some of the company's study findings raised concerns due to insufficient and conflicting data, the agency said in its statement. Oh boy, these fucking guys. Anyway, yeah. Let people smoke their fucking e-cigarettes. That's my opinion. The less shit the rats in Washington are involved in, the better, in my opinion. That's how I feel. I don't care who you're talking about. I don't care which side of the aisle. If you can please stay out of my business. I don't care which party you're with. I appreciate you. That's my hot take there. Jess said, "Oh, sad to see you too, Joe. Enjoy your videos." What? Okay, you're going to go watch other videos. All right. See you, Joe. Have a good night. Jess, you don't know what the soy jack is? Just look it up. It's like soy face. It's like the soy face guys pointing, that type of shit, I mean, I can search right here. Like these things, that guy. That guy. You don't have to look anything up. I'm showing you right now. Just look at your computer screen. I'm showing you the soy jack. This guy. the opposite of the soy jack, your Giga Chad. You know what I mean. Anyway, anything else going on here? Why is it called soy jack? I couldn't tell you. That's the name. I don't know the origin. I've not researched the origin where the soy jack name comes from, but that's what it is. Now you know. You're all up to speed. You're all taken care of. You're all ready to go in the game. Yeah. Miro's trending from AEW. What does this say? Tomohiro Ishii was injured in his AEW All Atlantic title New Japan Eliminator Tournament match with Clark Connors. With Ishii not medically cleared, he forfeits, and Connors will now go to Forbidden Door on Sunday to face Miro. To face Miro, Pac, and Malachi Black to crown the first All-Atlantic champion. Clark Connors. Here's the new match for Forbidden Door. Okay. I guess this was Ishii's response. I'm a sad man. Write whatever you want about me. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, okay. Oh, boy. All right. Well, I suppose I'm going to go now for a bit. I'm going to work on page number 3 of outlining for the first issue of Strawberry Blonde. I'm going to go and do that until this what was it? Something at the Gates of Hell, the new Puppet Combo game comes out. Why can't I think of the whole title now? What is that? Carrot says, I'm just now realizing how hard it is to explain anything about the internet. If for some odd reason I was forced to explain the internet to a 14th century peasant, I don't think I could do it. That'd be very difficult. Be very difficult. You'd have to find out kind of, if they had anything like memes that they shared with each other in the 14th century. Jess said I'm basically a 14th century peasant when it comes to the internet, and Nick always has to explain memes to you. Yeah, that's true. I do have to explain memes all the time. Anytime I reference a meme, Jess has no idea what I'm talking about. So I just, maybe I would be able to explain it to a peasant in the 14th century because I have so much experience helping Jess navigate the waters of the internet in 2022. I was going to say 2023. I was looking at my my calendar down the corner of the screen, and I saw that it was the 23rd today. But we're not there yet. We're not at 2023 just yet. We are halfway through 2022. So how about that? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Halfway through this new year. I mean, that still seems appropriate to say that it's the new year. It doesn't seem like we're almost halfway through it yet. It's flying by. Rapid pace. Anyhow, gonna go work on my comic book. Gonna map out page number 3. That's what I'm doing right now. I think it's going pretty well. And check the channel later tonight if you would like to see a new demo playthrough. And I will try to be back with you guys soon. Maybe another console music stream while I'm drawing, a drawing stream, but you're watching whatever the hell I hook up over here. Something like that. We'll do that maybe tomorrow. Maybe something different. We'll see. So thank you guys for hanging out. Jess, thank you for stopping by. Carrot, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed the puppet combo presentation. Thank you again for your generous donation, your lovely super chat. Thank you very much for that. And as always, I appreciate you. And update. I'm going to go to Michael's tomorrow. I haven't gotten that picture out in the mail yet because I need to get like they sell these like, basically like a very stiff piece of cardboard, almost like a clipboard back, like the brown kind of wooden looking clipboards. Well, they sell those without the clip on top. So you can just put artwork on it and then slip that into a mailer and drop it off in the post office. And that way, whatever you're sending doesn't get all bent up and disheveled in the mail, because the United States Postal Service does not mind manhandling whatever you give to them. So if you don't secure things properly, they will get bent up and destroyed along the way. So I'm going to get a nice little, whatever you want to call it, like a sturdy cardboard backing. It's not quite cardboard. I don't know what do you call that? Particle board, something like that. And I'm going to attach the picture. Well, first I'm going to put it in a plastic sleeve, and then I will tape that to the particle board backing, and I'll put that in an envelope, and I will ship it to you tomorrow. Update there. So be on the lookout for that. All right. And everyone, we will, Lord willing, see you next time. You guys take care. All right. Bye-bye.